Hola mi gente, ¿cómo están? Otra vez aquí. Mi nombre es Alba Mar, me pueden decir Alba, el canal se llama Seriela. Estamos aquí para hablar de libros, algunos de ellos en español desde Puerto Rico, but not today. Hi, my name is Alba Mar. You may call me Alba. The channel name is Seriela. We're here to talk about books. Some of them in Spanish from Puerto Rico, but not today because I'm going to try to do a rapid video of my favorite nonfiction books, again, this time in English. What I'm actually doing is separating out all of the nonfiction that I have read from the nonfiction that I might read for Nonfiction November. So I want to get these favorites in Spanish and the favorites in English out of the way so that I can focus on my TBR for Nonfiction November. So some of these books have already been put away in boxes, as I've told you before. I'll put a picture up here of what that looks like. I have boxes in 3 closets in this apartment awaiting the paint job, which I might have to do myself as I'm seeing. So anyway, here we go. Some of these books I read from the library in ebook format. So I'm going to do those first. So you want to talk about Race by Ijoma Oluo. And I especially appreciated this book because of the way that the author invited me to take a look at my own privilege. Another one that I read on ebook format from the library on Overdrive was Evicted. And that had such an impact on me. It was such a good book that I'm going to buy it in physical format. Yeah, I want that one for myself. Another one that is either in one of these boxes or is gone forever, but was very, very influential in my love for nonfiction. I read many, many decades ago, and that is Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. And I'll never forget the emotions that I felt as I read that book for the first time. Yeah. So here we go with the ones that I do have right here in front of me. One of them is Oliver Sacks' The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. There are many reasons why this is one of my favorite books. One of them being that it was my first buddy read with Heidi. And I came to appreciate what a loving human being Dr. Oliver Sacks was, to the point that I might have a nonfiction book in one of my halls that is one of his memoirs. You might see it in my TBR. Another one that I absolutely loved was Memoirs of a Korean Queen by Lady Hong. I had this book for quite a long time, but was not anxious to pick it up because I thought it was going to be a litany, a dry litany of court behavior and etiquette. And I had already seen some of the ceremonies and rituals in kdrama, historical kdrama, how dry that could be. So I wasn't anxious to pick this up, but what a surprise when I did. It's the story of Lady Hong, whose husband was the crown prince that was eliminated who died at the hands of his own father. Yeah, and there are a few K-dramas in which that is addressed. And I will link them down below if you're interested. Another nonfiction book that I really enjoyed is Sarah Vowell's Unfamiliar Fishes, which is, yes, it says here, a wise, witty, and refreshingly warm-hearted look at, Vowell considers the story of the Americanization of Hawaii to be one of the most intriguing. Yeah, this is the story of Hawaii. And I love her style of writing history. Yeah, try it. Sarah Vowell. You know that I just finished reading Dying to Better Themselves, West Indians and the Building of the Panama Canal by Olive Sr. This has become one of my favorite nonfiction books ever. Looking at the construction of the Panama Canal through the eyes of the West Indian workers that built it. I'll probably go on to read David McCullough's book on the Panama Canal, which I'm looking at right now. There's The Black Count by Tom Rice. It's the story, it says here, glory, revolution, betrayal, and the real Count of Monte Cristo. And the thing is, I'm actually reading The Count of Monte Cristo right now with Dee Dee, who has a read-along of The Count of Monte Cristo. I love that book. And just knowing that The Count of Monte Cristo is based on the real Black Count, the father of Alexandre Dumas. I had no idea. This taught me so much about Napoleon and the Napoleonic Wars, too. Had no idea. Love this book. One of the #1 books for me is The Shock Doctrine, The Rise of Disaster Capitalism by Naomi Klein. And this is an eye-opener, this book. Especially for people who live in Latin America. She lived for a while with her husband in Argentina. I will link down below the documentary that they filmed, La Toma. La Toma is about that period of economic crisis around 2001 in Argentina, and follows a group of workers whose plant had closed down, and they decided they were going to take over that plant and make a co-op. Wonderful, wonderful documentary. So I knew Naomi Klein from that documentary and read The Shock Doctrine when it came out and was floored at the similarities that I saw with what was happening in Puerto Rico. I can't end this video without talking about the pièce de résistance, which is America in the King Years by Taylor Branch, the trilogy, part 1, called Parting the Waters, which is America in the King Years from 1954 to 1963. Then part 2, Pillars of Fire, America in the King Years 1963 to 1965. And finally, you've seen this one this year. Yes, the last one, At Canaan's Edge, America in the King Years from 1965 to that year in history, 1968. So yeah, that was a rapid look at my favorite nonfiction books in English. So thanks for your time. Thanks for helping me cull my nonfiction so that I can make my TBR, which is actually just like what Cousin says, list of possibilities. A pile of possibilities is what she calls it. Yeah. So thank you for your time. Thanks for visiting. Comment down below if you wish. And I'll see you soon. Sigan leyendo, gente. Cuídense mucho. Adiós.